What's up, guys? Welcome to How to Play Chess 101. Okay, this is a little tutorial for beginners, you know, those newbies out there. Let me just adjust this part. Oopsies, hold on. Sorry. I'm just recording on my iPad, you know. I have something propped up on it. It's gonna fall sometimes, you know. But don't worry. Yes, this is How to Play Chess 101. Let me help my brother trying to opening bags. You can skip forward a bit. It's gonna take a while. Alright, here, kiddo. Anyways, this is How to Play Chess 101, and today we're gonna just talk about, and yeah, I mean, I think, should I make a series about it or something? I think I should actually. Anyways, it's just gonna be talking about, you know, how pieces move, some basic concepts, etc. And, you know, just help you reach my elo, 1000. You know, not as good as Gotham Chess, but, it's good enough, okay? And we can start. Okay, so we got the chess set here. Beautiful, I know. New, completely new. I bought it, like, today. Well, not me, my parents did. Thank them, shout out to my parents. Anyways, the brand new chess set, there's all the pieces. This is how you set up. Remember, white square on the right, white square on the bottom right, always, you know, even on black's perspective, you know, it's always white on the right. That's how you set up the chessboard. And the queens on their perspective color, basically their own color, and the kings stay on their opposite color. Anyways, we're gonna start with, well, how a pawn moves. This little thing, a pawn. A pawn at the start of their move can move 2 squares forward and just move 1 square rest of the way and capture diagonally. It's like some of the most confusing pieces in chess, but it's also fascinating, which is why it's my favorite piece, and that's why my channel named after it. And yeah, anyways, let's go from the left to the right. I'm gonna start with Daruk. You know, everyone's, you know, the famous, you know, that Gotham chess song that goes Rook B1. Oh no, this rook is on A1. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's on A1. I can hardly tell without the coordinates. But anyways, yeah, it's rook. The rook's on A1, and how the rook moves. Hold on, that's not a legal move, but how the rook moves is moves vertically and horizontally. Basically, it could just slide across the board. You know. It's a pretty powerful piece, but it's a powerful piece, but not the most powerful. It's the second most powerful, and yes, it moves like in straight lines. It just moves like that, besides diagonally, and it could capture like that. Okay, we're gonna talk, and there's also a special move where you could do with the king and the rook, but it's called castling. But we're gonna get into that later for all you newbies. Anyways, now we get to the horsey, or, well, the real name is knight, but I like to call it horsey because who doesn't? The knight is also a very confusing piece. It moves in L shapes. It moves like here, here, here. If you see it's like not L shape, you can just think about this. You know, this. It's an L. Here. It's an L. Or, well, it's hard. It's here, L. It's an L. It's basically an L, you know, anywhere. And it goes to 8 squares. And there's also a principle about knights where it's, like it says, knight on the rim is really a dim. But we're going to get to that, like, somewhere else. But anyways, we could talk about the bishop. The bishop. Arguably better than knights, but there are some here. But, I mean, most grandmasters say bishops are better than the knights, but I say they're about equal. Both of them are worth 3 points. But we're gonna talk about the point system later. We're just talk about how pieces move. And the bishop moves like the rook, but not exactly like the rook. The bishop moves diagonally, and the bishops. These are the 2 bishops. They're on the opposite colored squares on the start. That means they can never touch each other diagonally. Gosh, that was so bad. Anyways, bishops just move diagonal. It cannot, and just like rooks, they cannot hop over pieces, and that's the bishop. And speaking about not hopping over pieces, Pawns too. When they move 2 squares forward, they cannot hop over pieces. And there's also a special move with pawn with it's called en passant, which my brother just just whispered in my ear. Yeah, so but we're gonna talk about en passant later for all you newbies. Hold on. Okay, anyways. Sorry. Whatever. Anyways, now we're gonna get to the queen, the most powerful piece, the piece you don't want to lose unless you want to trade with the opponent's queen. But it's the most powerful piece on the board. It moves a combined movement of a rook and a bishop. If you were not paying attention, here's how the rook moves. Straight lines. And here's how the bishop moves. Also straight lines. Except the bishop moves diagonally straight lines. The rook moves vertically and horizontally straight lines. If you don't know what that means, you gotta go back to first grade. Because you should know that vocabulary by like 3rd or 4th grade. I don't know. You should go back to first grade where you start learning about that thing. If you have art class, they probably teach you. That's what they teach me in art class. But we're way past that. I'm like very old right now. Not very old. I'm still below 18, but I'm in 6th. Well, no, I'm in 7th grade. School ended a long while ago. School's about to start actually. Anyway, now I'm gonna talk about the most humble piece ever, the king, which is my second favorite piece. It moves 1 square in any direction. Weak, but it is important. You don't want the king to. It's checkmated. It will suck. You will smash your computer when you find out your king got checkmated. Anyways, now we talk about how pieces move. Now we're gonna get on to some simple principles, Now, before that, we must talk about some special moves I mentioned. For example, castling. Let's just move some random pieces out. Like this. Castling. It's when there's like 2 squares between your king and the rook that's empty. But, so when that happens, you could move your king 2 squares towards the rook and the rook to the other side. But that can only be done if the rook nor king have not moved yet. For example, if this rook my king. Anyways, if this rook went here and here, no more castling. Okay, and the same situation is on the queen side. I'm just move some pieces out of the way in a very manly fashion. Okay, same with the queen side. You move 2 squares towards the rook and the rook to the other side. It's that simple. It gets your king to safety and activates your rook in the corner. Your miserable rook. You don't want the rook to be miserable. You want the rooks to be happy. Same with your other pieces. You want them to be happy, You gotta keep your pawns connected. Keep your knight in the center. Make them productive. Yeah. And we also talk about. Also, you heard about en passant for all you newbies out there. Anyways, en passant is what happens when let's just say they play this move like the Caro-Kann, and you just push forward. En passant is what happens when your enemy pawn or your pawn basically. Or your pawn, or your enemy pawn, doesn't matter. A pawn moves 2 squares forward and lands next to a enemy pawn. This white pawn. Okay? This black pawn has moved 2 squares forward and land next to the white pawn. So, after that happens, white could do this special move called en passant, where it just takes forward diagonal and takes this pawn. Boom, it's gone. It's gone. Okay? It's gone off the board. Anyways, so that trick actually trips up many newbies. Many below 300, 200, even 100. There's a lot of newbies that don't know that. Sorry, I'm hiccuping a bit. But yeah, that's en passant. I might not explain it well, but but again, it's also confusing. And yes, I told you at the start of the video, pawns are like confusing. So confusing, it became my favorite piece. Anyways, let's talk about principle and chess terms, of course. Anyways, principle number 1, always take control of the center 4 squares. They're the OP squares of the board. You want them because if you do, your opponent will just lose basically. Well, not lose, but they will be miserable for most of the game, unless if you blunder your queen or something, you know. But yeah, it's best to try control the center with your pawns, you know, your pieces like bishop here, bishop there, knight, knight. You want to control the center because they're the OP squares of the board, you know. Anyways, oops. Yeah. So you want to do that, but you know, most of you people would be like, well, I mean that's most of you newbies actually, they'll be like, but that's easy controlling the center. All they have to because you're my I could just press two pawn forward, do all that stuff, you know, and you talk to me, blah blah blah. Look, your opponent is not a dumbass, okay? Because they could just counter your center with e4. Well, I mean, you could still play this, but it's called a center game, and they could take your pawn, you know, kind of lose the center. And they can also play Scandinavian. They can also play Sicilian. This move also try to prevent your d pawn forward, and if you do it anyways, that isn't good. Well, I mean, it's only for good people. You know, your opponent has a lot of ways to counter center. There's also chances where your opponent just plays this weird looking move, but it is a move because it's trying to counter your center in the future. That's called Queen's Indian. This is the King's Indian, you know. The King's Indian, this move, it's going to be aggressive. You know, when you get higher in ELO, you know, King's Indian gets where more people know how to play King's Indian. It's going to get a little dangerous for you. But anyways, that's that. We got about the center. Now we talk about knight on the rim is really a dim. You see this horse, it wants to be in the center because if it's in the center, it controls 8 juicy, beautiful squares here, 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 and here. You know, knights like to be in the center. But knight on the rim, they can only control 4, which is also juicy, but not that juicy because they want to be in the center. And they get in the corner, that's where they get depressed. Because that's when they only control 2 squares, which sucks. So it's always best to bring your pieces towards the center, you know. Thank me, you know. Most beginners just play this, which is not a good move because it doesn't help control the center and makes your knight a bit depressed and makes them rethink life. But yeah, that's it. And anyways, that's it. Anyways, it's best to keep your knight in the center, control center, etc., etc. You know, keep your horses happy, keep anything happy, keep all your pieces happy, you know. Make sure your opponent will have a miserable game. Well, next concept, I guess. There's also, okay, what else concepts are there? Oh, yeah. Castle your king before move 10. Many people do that unless if you're, like, a very pro chess player, like, I don't know, Hikaru or Magnus, you know. You know, for most people, I always try to tell myself castle before castle, just castle. But, you know, what, I mean, to be honest, if I was me, I love attacking. I don't know if some of you know that, but in chess, I love attacking my opponents. And, yeah, it's just a little background knowledge of me playing chess. But, yeah, it's always best to try castle your king, you know, get your king to safety. Get your rooks active, you know. You know, and yeah, just basically try castle. It's always best to do so. Anyways, next. Anyway, I'm just gonna set up a random position, you know. Let's just say, this, blop, 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 blop. I'm gonna set a random position for black 2. This, this, I don't know, this. No, actually not this, and this. You know? Okay, you see the position, you know, white's a little bit ahead in development. You know, black is just a little cramped in there. Well, let's just let him play this, you know. A move, here's also a move. I don't know. Actually, maybe this. Okay, you see black. Okay, right now you see black has more space. Okay, and what black plays this move? This h5. I think if I knew that coordinate, but h5 You see that, and most of you, this advice is for like 600 players above, 600 elo players above, or 500 even maybe 400. But this is for like, it's basically where your opponent's trying to attack your castle king. The king's safe in this little bunker area, right here. Let me just scoot this over here, but right here, okay? And your opponent wants to, well, destroy that bunker and slaughter your king as fast as possible. Okay, you see that, and what you're gonna do? What, counter it? No. They say, a lot of people say, it's best to counter a flank attack with a center strike. Well, I mean, that's how I worded it. It's best to attack in the center. See this bishop? Now this bishop has to retreat. Now there's a little trade here. You could take this bishop. Now they have double pawns. Also, there's also another thing. Try to avoid double pawn. Now there's a double pawn because a double pawn cannot defend each other, which is gonna have some long-term weaknesses. And look, they're trying to attack, right? Just counter in the center. Just try, because the reason is because their king's in the center still. See, the king's not castled yet. The king is still, in the center. Just haven't moved yet because they're lazy. So you want to open the center, just so you can attack your opponent's king. Even if they're just trying to push forward, try to break your castle. Just continue attacking. They even in the instant they maybe hang this pawn, which now they're losing because now the queen has to like go here, and now the queen is miserable. The rook's miserable. The king is stuck in the center. And you can also open the center up more, Just try to attack the king. This is not the best way to play. I am not a pro, disclaimer. But, I mean, this is probably how I would play. I mean, it's just like they trying, you get the concept. Attack, deal, if you need to deal with a flank attack, just strike in the center, That's another concept for you. Anyways, next concept. Is there any concepts? I can't think. I did not pre-plan this video before. I'm just gonna go with the flow. Okay. Next. What should it be? Sorry, taking a little while. You can skip forward this video, but it's like, how about I just show you some random openings that's just good for you, white and black, let's just start with the white pieces, okay. Let's just tilt this like this so you can see both players. That's actually a little weird. You could just, let's just do it like this. Oh my gosh, I suck. Like this? Is this good? I don't know. No, I'm gonna just take this dice. There's a dice propping up this thing. Okay, there. Alright, I don't know. Hold on. You know what? I'm just gonna hold actually I need this dice again. Okay, hold on, it's taking me a while to... let's just do it like this. Okay, some opening ideas. Me? If I was white, me... Okay, so here's a little opening idea for, you little lower elo players. Okay? E4, E4, like the most common first move. And if you're like pretty low elo, your opponent will most likely play E5. If not, I don't know how you would counter it, or if you know how to counter it, good for you. But the most common response at like low elo players, like 400 below, they most likely play E5 against E4. The most common responses for white, is knight F3. That's an option. Which is, so play knight F3. The most common responses here is either D3, no, not D3, D6 or knight C6. D6 or knight C6. D6, if D6, you just play regular chess, develop your bishop, castle, queen out, bishop out. Just play normal chess, because the reason why is because, you see this dark square bishop, it's not happy. Black's dark square bishop, not happy. The pawn blocking it. Their light square bishop might be happy, but their dark square bishop ain't. So, you know, you want to take a little advantage of that because it'll take a longer while to develop the dark square bishop. So, take advantage of that and just develop fast, you know? Oh yeah, I forgot about concept, you know, knight before bishop. Just saying. Just develop your knights before bishop. Normally, you don't have to do so sometimes. Well, but most of the time, knights before bishops. Forgot about that concept. But now you know. Anyways, but if they play knight, c6, you know, keeping this dark square bishop happy, this light square bishop closed for now, you know, when the dark square bishop, bishop develops. Pawn here, here's their, you know, normal moves. Okay, what I will recommend, it's either the Italian, which most newbies will play, you know, Italian, if they play this. Most of you low elo players will not know how to counter, fight against the fried liver. So it's always best to play a fried liver at the very low elo. And they try to attack your knight. Well, you take this pawn, it's the bishop defending the knight forking the queen and the rook, and you win a rook. But if they play this, it's actually the best move. You just take the pawn, you know, and just, yeah. I mean, if they do this, and your opponent's below 300. 250 elo, report them. They might be cheating, because that is the best move. But anyways, yeah. And you know, if they do nothing about it, well, I mean, it's a pawn there, and they're gonna take. They're gonna fork the queen and rook. It's pretty. But again, there's also newbies that play this, bishop out, and you can no longer do this because of queen takes knight. But again, if your elo's like 100 or something, you know, and you play this, they might not see it. They might well see it. And if they do see it, you could just play this. It's a funny move. You're like, that loses a pawn. No, it doesn't. Because if they take this pawn, their queen is gone. Well, that actually kind of rhymes. But anyway, but if they do see it, and you'll just bring back their queen, you can just take this bishop, and you got even material. But nothing like really, yeah. Anyways, yeah, the Italian is one suggestion. And if you're like more like 600, 700 elo, I will suggest, and if you're a smart 600, 700 elo, I would suggest the Ruy Lopez. It's a okay Spanish game, or no, is it Spanish game? Spanish opening. Yeah, it's like a high level opening. It's, you know, even grandmasters play these days. It's very sophisticated. There's so much logic. There's so much book move. There's so much. I mean, even the longest book move chain is in the Ruy Lopez, But I mean, if you're more like into a simplish game, play this, you know, and then they'll copy you. And this is called a 4 knights game. You can see the 4 knights are out. And it's basically a drawish opening according to me. And you just copy each other. Sarah. This is a Gucci piano. The Gucci piano Italian game thing. You know, a bunch of stuff. It's a bunch of boring stuff. But if you're that low elo player but just want some chaos, Scotch game will it be. Scotch game is a lot of traps. For example, if it takes, there is knight. There's this knight move, knight g5. This is called Scotch Gambit. It's pretty dangerous. But again, there's a lot of theory in this. But if you want some chaos, this is what you want. This is Scotch Gambit, and they do like, I don't know, a bishop develop, try to continue defending the pawn or something. You know, your idea. Oh my gosh, I forgot to play Scotch game. Your idea is basically to sack. If they play this, just sack the knight. Why? Because it is what it is. The reason is because you fork the queen and rook, even though it's not defended, because after king takes, queen h5, check, fork, and you win the bishop, and you're completely winning, because the king's weak. The king's weak, and you can continue, and there's a lot of attacking ideas in here. Again, if you want some chaos, Scotch Gambit is. Or Scotch Gambit. But there's also some traps. There's also some little sneaky traps Black can play. If, you know, like in Scotch game, you know. You know, there's little sneaky traps after takes, You know, instead of taking this knight, they play bishop here, double attacking knight. If you take this knight, you know, they play queen here, attacking the knight, but then you're like, what? But that isn't that just a free knight? You can just move the knight away. No, this is checkmate actually. It's crazy how there's so many traps, okay? There's so many traps in this Scotch game, but it's aggressive opening for you guys. I don't know. It's aggressive, you know. But I mean, if you are like, if you reach this point in the video, give yourself a pat on the back. Good job for lasting like 26 minutes. But I mean that's it of the How to Play Chess 101. Yeah. I will see you next time with a better video, most likely. Goodbye.